All right, so what am I supposed to do here? Okay, so Brian gets in the car. He then notices the camera as if he's just seeing it for the first time, looks into the camera, smiles and says, "Oh, hey, didn't notice you there." Yeah, I'm not doing that. Okay, so yesterday was my birthday, January the 1st, for those of you who are not caught up on your Brian trivia, and I am now 59, which means that soon the units of my birth will be measured in years young. God help us all. And I did want to take a moment to record a quick vlog to start off the year. Normally, if you've kept up with my channel and my recordings, you know that Octobers of the even number years I tend to do a Vlogtober, and I'm most likely going to be doing that this October, but I did want to jump in a little bit early and record a vlog because since this is the last year of my 50s, I wanted to, I guess, do a little bit of a retrospective over the course of the last few years, because not only is this the last year of my 50s, but we're also crossing that halfway line of the 2020s, and this has been a hell of a decade from top to bottom. And of course, I'm spending some time thinking about what there is to come, but I have to admit, I'm thinking about the future a little differently than I did when I was a lot younger. And although you might not be able to tell, when I look at a lot of my old videos on this channel, I can definitely tell what headspace I was at the time and how that's changed to where I am now. I can definitely see the performative nature of a lot of the videos that I was doing. To some degree, I was wanting to put forward an image of myself, of the type of person that I wanted to be. And I know we all have a tendency of doing that whenever we're posting videos or photos on Instagram or making posts on social media. You know, we just want to put ourselves out in the best light that we can. Because I wanted to be a certain type of person, I wanted to accomplish certain things, that I had to put that impression of myself out online, because if I didn't, then I wouldn't be able to really be that person. I had to, as they say, fake it until you make it. And so I maybe exaggerated to some degree who I was online in hopes that by doing so I could be more of that person. Not that I was lying exactly, but I was definitely putting out an exaggerated version of myself. It was certainly the type of person that, at least at the time, I thought that I wanted to be. But I gotta say, my 50s have been a pretty crazy time in my life. A lot of strange things have happened, not the least of them being COVID, of course, but with a lot of things that I've done and a lot of things that I've learned about myself, I think I really have a greater understanding about who I am as a person, better than really I think I have in any part of my life. There are some things that I thought I would have accomplished by now that just didn't happen. But at the same time, there are things that I never thought I would ever be able to do that I have been able to do. But I also realized that there was a lot of guilt that I had that I've been able to work on letting go. And although I do have to acknowledge that there are certain choices that I no longer have, and there are certain doors that are closed to me forever now, there are some opportunities that have opened up for me as well. Oh man, but if I could have known myself at 20 as well as I know myself now at 59, my life would have been so different. But that ain't the way life goes, kids, and it never has. So I think the main reason why I'm putting out this video today, I do want to make a concerted effort to be less performative online. I want to be a little more real about what I post. Although, obviously, I'm not going to put my entire life online, because that's just a really bad idea. And quite frankly, I don't know who'd necessarily be that interested. But I also did want to say that because I have posted a lot of videos in the past about my writing and how I've wanted to do more writing and the problems that I've had with my writing, I did want to take a moment to say that, yes, I am writing again. I'm not going to talk about what exactly I'm working on right now because, well, writers know that talking about what you're working on is often a replacement for actually doing the work. And to be honest, until I have something written and put out there for you to read, what is there really to talk about? But what I will say is that what I am working on right now is something that's a bit of a departure for me. It's something that I'm writing because I want to write and not because it's something I feel like I need to be writing. Because I've come to realize that a lot of the writing that I've put out has, in its own way, also been performative. Because I had built this narrative around myself that I was this particular type of writer who was supposed to write this particular type of work, and that was the path that I was meant to travel. And I think that's because since over the last few years, a lot of the narratives I've built around myself have been tested, some of them tested by fire. I've realized a lot of the things that I thought I couldn't do, I've been more than capable of doing. I think that's given me the bravery to step away from what I've been comfortable with and to try some new things, some things that maybe are more for me, that I wouldn't have done otherwise because I had built this narrative around myself that I was this certain type of person who did these certain types of things and created a certain type of art. But one thing that hasn't changed, one thing that hasn't gone away, that is more clear to me than it's ever been in any time of my life, is that I am a creator. Whether it's writing or doing some sort of art or woodworking or baking, anytime I can make something, anytime I can bring something into the world that didn't exist until I brought it into being, that is the heart and the soul of me. And I hope that these words that I'm writing, this story that I'm creating, I hope that it is something that I will be able to manifest into a book that one day people will get to read. But in the spirit of being more real online and not being performative on videos, I gotta say, I'm not 100% sure it's gonna happen. When I was writing in my early teens, late 20s, I had all the confidence in the world, all the confidence that only pure ignorance can afford you. I thought that all I had to do was just get words on paper, and as soon as I could do that, the world of publishing was just going to open its arms to me. But now at 59, I've learned enough and have experienced enough to realize, well, it don't work that way. And even though I've got no guarantee that what I'm working on will ever amount to anything, or if I'll even publish ever again, I decided to keep writing. Because although in my 20s I was more confident in my writing, although maybe not deservedly so, now I feel more competent in what I do write. And I have to say, the stuff I'm working on now is, I feel like the best stuff I've ever written. But again, being honest, it's not the only reason. Because the illusion of having all the time in the world to do what you want to do in life is a luxury afforded only to the young. And I ain't as young as I used to be. But I also have to admit that having all of these stories in my head, the thought that one day, instead of putting them out into the world, I might actually just drag them into the grave with me, untold, the thought of that scares the living hell out of me. So while I'm sitting here knocking on 60's door, all I can do with whatever time I have left is remember one very important truth that I learned when I was young, but didn't really fully understand until I got older. That the young dream of the future, the old dwell on the past, but the wise live in the present.